Right, let's do the same principle that we did with the tone strip, but using a cylinder. So there's an example that I've done above there. So we'll do another cylinder underneath. So we'll start with two simple ellipses. There's two straight lines to join them up. And we have our basic cylinder. A hollow tube. The light is going to be coming in from my right and going across to my left, light to dark. So let's just divide, as we did with the tone strip, divide the surface of the cylinder into a number of different bands, which would be light, in this case white, or the surface of the paper, through to the darkest colour or shade. So let's just put the first one in. Again, sometimes people find it helpful to start with the middle tone and work out to the light and back through the way to the dark. But if you're quite confident, you can go straight into the dark to light or light to dark. And just take it down. It's quite easy when the area to shade, using the single hatch, that's one direction hatch. It's easier when that's quite a smaller surface area to cover. The larger the surface area, the harder it is to control the direction and pressure of the hatch. So you end up with more uneven tone, which then has to be modelled by layering and layering until you close all those gaps up. So small areas are often easy to work with, but large areas can be very expressive because you can't control the strokes as easy. So it's starting to take shape. So let's now work back from the dark edge just to build up the tones, so they go through in their grades. Starting to have an effect now, so it's not dark enough on the edge here. So we'll just shade in that strip again. You should eventually start to lose the distinction between the edges, but try and work to those original shapes, those strips that you drew. So you can see how it's going around the cylinder and how the light is starting to look how it would look, more or less, on a cylinder. It depends. If there's other sources of light coming in, you may catch a little bit of lighter grey on this edge here, and you may catch a bit of shadow on this one. But if there's a very strong one direction light, which we're assuming here, coming in from my right, then we can say it's going to be light to dark. That's when it hits the outside of the cylinder. If we were to say what happens to when the light goes inside the cylinder, well, it has to go over this edge which casts a shadow, so it inverts, it reverses the way the tone works. So if we were to do some small strips inside the cylinder, as it were, then we know that we'll be working from dark to light rather than light to dark. So it's the opposite direction to the outside. So let's do that. So I'm going to do the light one first. I've done the lines a little bit dark just so you can see them, but do the lines as light as you can so that soon you lose that edge and it becomes a smooth graduation on the inside. So just go back from the dark, make it a bit slightly darker in there, and then you can start to see the effect there. So it's quite an effective illusion, but it's mainly to just understand the basic principle of light hitting that shape, and to have other reasons to practice your tone, how to get tone, how to get the pressure right, how to vary that subtly. When you should, again, like the strip, use this with different strengths or weights of drawing instrument, pencils from 6B down to 2B and then across to the H's, H and 2H perhaps, just to see what happens.